Welcome back here, Patriot Radio News Hour. And again, it's an interesting time that we're living here in, and seemingly every day there's another bank with a problem. There's another bank that needs some kind of a bailout. And again, remember, how long have we said it? They never fixed the problem from the last time. The financial crisis, this problem never got fixed. They just papered over it. And now you fast forward. It's only been 15 years. Are you kidding me? We're here again? 15 years later? Really? That's what's got us all confident? Do I really care if Janet Yellen's out there trying to tell you, don't worry, your deposits are safe? No. Have you heard from Jay Powell? Where's Jay Powell? Yeah, they know, hey, keep that dummy off the TV, right? Joe Biden, same thing. Keep him off the TV because they give you zero confidence. If you're tired of having zero confidence, check out our friends at Invest Y Refi. Listen, this is not correlated to Wall Street. They don't care about First Republic Bank. They don't care about the ECB or Credit Suisse or what the central bank's going to do with interest rates next week. You can get up to 10.25% returns. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com, or 888-Y-REFI-24. It was Thursday. We did have economic data out. You know, we got to at least talk about jobless claims. Remember last week, they jumped up a little bit. 211,000, still really low. Right back down this week, Jason, 192,000. That's not a number. Unfortunately, the Federal Reserve hated that number. And then housing starts way up. Why? Well, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh. And then I looked at the day. I'm like, oh, apartments. Multi-family apartments through the roof. Which kind of makes sense, right? Hey, the weather's starting. We're getting ready now. Spring's around the corner. Let's start. Oh, yeah, let's build a bunch of apartments because, let's face it, nobody can afford a house, especially with the interest rates where they're at, Jason. And again, think about how we are now. Could you imagine? Economy slows down and housing falls, I don't know, 10 or 20% from where it is right now. How bad would these mortgage-backed securities that are on these banks' balance sheets, how bad would they be? Right? I mean, there really isn't a lot of things where I'm like, okay, this is a good thing. The only thing that I could say could possibly be positive is if the Fed starts lowering rates again. Right now, the funny thing is, think about this. The Fed is printing money again. And you're like, well, what do you mean they're printing money again? Well, look at all these banks are lining up when giving them these securities that should be 80, 70, 60 cents on the dollar. The Fed's giving them 100% on the dollar on it. They're creating money again. Right? They're supposed to be doing quantitative tightening, Jason. Right? Essentially, right? This is just a different way of adding. And guess what? They're saying, hey, we're going to give you the money for a whole year.
You know, it doesn't matter how they add money. Adding money is adding money. They can call it quantitative easing, or they can call it whatever they want to call it when they add money to the system. But that's all inflation is. Inflation is just how much money is in the system. You know, that's all it is. And Joey, the multifamily building is these 24-plex apartment buildings. Yeah, they're. I took a drive through some towns yesterday. They're everywhere, man. They're just building them everywhere. They're just everywhere. And even if housing just, you said 10 or 20%. Even if housing goes sideways, I said this. I used to say it's a lot more in 2022. But if housing just goes sideways and goes 0% up, 0% down, and you've got essentially real inflation numbers of 12 to 14%, you're losing. Your house is not keeping up. You're losing 10 to 14% value every year if the inflation keeps doing this. Any asset you have that doesn't keep up with inflation is losing. And in the situation that's getting ready to happen, Joe, a lot a lot of what's going on is a lot of assets are going to fall together. Which assets will fall the least is what you want to be involved in. Housing starts going up, Joe. Being all apartment buildings, boy, does that make a lot of sense. Because I think you were doing some numbers with used cars and new cars, and used cars had gone up a little bit, and new cars have gone down. I think that's going to be the same with housing. Apartments will go up, but current housing and new house builds are probably going to continue to go down.
And again, how do we get out? I mean, do we go back to inflation? Because it sure seems like that's what people are really talking about, right? They're talking, what I said, every time when you hear these guys on the TV telling you the Fed needs to stop raising rates, you got a lot of people saying the Fed needs to cut rates. That's a warning. You got to understand why are they saying it? Because they see things in the market that they don't like, right? They're like, man, if they keep raising rates, they're going to make this problem worse, not better. And why is it going to be worse? Well, because it's going to make those underlying securities that are already deep underwater even deeper underwater. And again, they're trying to hide price discovery. I mean, most of us, we should be up in arms right now about what the Fed did over the weekend. Really, we should be. You should be telling us. You should be telling us the truth. How bad is the situation with these banks? Show us what real price discovery is. And Jason, they don't want to do it.
I think people should be mad that the FDIC has a list of rules that they're supposed to stick by. And that doesn't really matter. We're going to just pay everybody to fix this situation. And it's just like 2008. Well, if we don't protect all of the deposits of this bank, it can get worse. Well, what about when you run out of money or run out of the willpower to fix all the banks that are going to go under? What are you going to do about those depositors? It's a situation where Silicon Valley Bank, it's going to be fortunate that they went first, right, Joe? But it sucks to say it, but man, what are they going to do? And then they change the rules just as they see fit. There are no rules, Joe. If they can change them overnight, there are no rules. The rules are every man for themselves, is what it looks like.
And again, at the end of the day, I think you're right. You may be better off being first versus being last, but it's an interesting situation because I think the problem is, hey, we're trying to stop this crisis, but while trying to stop this crisis, we're actually creating another crisis that's going to hit us in a couple more months. Right? Then they're going to try to solve that one and get another. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. 800-951-0592. Jason and Joe, we'll be right back. (800-951-0592). Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here, and just a few announcements. Delivery times. We're now looking for 1 to 2 weeks. All of the distributors out there, in normal times, we could have product. I could order product right now and have it here tomorrow. Worst case scenario, it'd be here, Monday morning. When we are telling our distributors, hey, okay, ship this, ship that, we're now looking at 4 to 5 days before they get to our order. That's how many orders are in front. And again, we've talked about premiums have been rising steadily here. So just be patient. Here's the good news. There's product available. There's Silver Eagles available. There's junk silver available. There's $20 gold pieces, $10 gold pieces available right now. The 10th ounce is looks like it's going to probably go out of stock first. Then my guess, Jay, if I was to guess, and I don't have intimate knowledge here, but probably then Silver Eagles second, right? And then we'll probably start having issues on the 5s, 10s, and $20 gold pieces in bags of junk. But right now, at a week, normally we're able to get things in and out of here very, very quickly. The issue here is the amount of orders that are in front of everybody right now. So put it this way, stuff that I ordered last week hasn't even left yet. Right. And those are the type of delays that are happening right now. But again, $2,265 on 20s. I'm going to throw that out. $2,250. I'm going to hold that price. Gold's down about $8 right now, and I don't know on Kitco. Kitco may have it down, not at all. I don't know, but about $8 right now on this rumor that maybe First Republic can get a cash infusion. Here's the problem: if this doesn't happen, I think tomorrow could be an ugly day, obviously, and then most likely that may be it for First Republic. I don't know that, right? That maybe they can survive a little longer, but the ECB had their Fed meeting today. Of course, we know about Credit Suisse. Jason, they raised 50 basis points today. That was what they said they were going to do. That's what they did. I think some of the market was a little surprised that they were that aggressive. It's still a coin flip here. If First Republic gets a bailout from one of these other banks, then maybe I may be leaning towards the 1/4 point. If they don't, and the Fed's got to take it over, the FDC's got to take it over, I'm not sure that they will. And I know you're still kind of, I think, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think you think they're going to do a 1/4 point.
I really believe that, and this is me, I think they do 1/4 point for the rest of the year, no matter what. Unless like Credit Suisse or Deutsche Bank or something like that just blows up like a bomb. Other than a massive bank failure or massive problems, because I really, Joe, this is just me. I don't think these regional banks going under for the Fed is a big deal when it comes to this inflation situation. I think they want inflation, and they want inflation to be a certain level. So to keep, I think it's a hard dance to keep inflation to a certain level. I think they like this level it's at. Like that New York Fed sheet, he was saying it's going to be 6.8 in June this year. Well, that's kind of where we're at right now, right? And I think they want to keep it at a certain level. So if they don't keep on top of it, it can get out of control. And so I think that's that 1/4 point. They just hit those 1/4 point. And if banks are going under, I'm wondering if the bank goes under tomorrow. Maybe every Friday for the next 3 months, we have a bankruptcy bank Friday. Every Friday, one bank goes under until we just kind of get used to it. There's a lot of banks. We can do a lot of Friday bank closures, right, Joe? And then at some point, oh, well, nothing really bad happened after the last 3 banks went under 3 straight Fridays. I mean, who knows, Joe? But I think inflation is the key to this whole thing. I think they want it to be as a specific level for a specific length of time. And I think they can push this Ponzi scheme further in their minds if they can inflate their way out of it. I think that's part of what's going on here. And I think that's why the ECB went up 50 basis points, because I bet their inflation is worse than ours right now. I bet the actual inflation on the ground is worse. They have
and they were behind us, right? So they're catching up. But, one of the things that I think is very true is I do believe that the Jay Powell, Janet Yellen, they are extremely arrogant. I think they have no clue how teetering on the brink this really is. And we've seen them make these mistakes over and over and over again. Remember, go back to the financial crisis. Ben Bernanke was in charge. And what was he saying about, don't worry, it's contained. It's a subprime problem. It's a little frothy. Right. And anybody with an IQ above room temperature is like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And I get the same feeling today. Janet Yellen's out on TV trying to tell, oh, no, your money's safe. It's fine. Yeah, it's contained. Don't worry. It's the
Joe,
same
tell me if you
story.
remember this. Tell me if you remember this. I didn't even remember this until I was watching some other guy talking about it. 2017, Janet Yellen. I forgot she even said this. Tell me if you remember this. She said there won't be a market downturn or recession for the rest of our lifetimes. Do you remember her
Yep.
saying that?
Yep.
I actually watched the video of her saying this
Yep.
in 2017.
There'll be no more banking crises ever again. Dude,
in our lifetime.
They made it 15 years. Speaking of crisis, we all know what's coming. It's the digital currency. The Federal Reserve just so happened to make a major announcement yesterday about the digital payment system. I'll tell you about that next. $800-951-0592. $20 gold still $2,250 this morning at 800-951-0592. Silver, the supply is tight. That's all I can tell you right now. Rolls of Silver Eagle $6.90. Rolls of $half $2.45. Rolls of quarters $2.25. Rolls of dimes $112.50. Remember, we're 1 to 2 weeks on delivery. Right now, gold's down 6. Keeps coming back here. 1925. Silver's off about 15 cents here. $21.60. The Federal Reserve has announced that their new digital payment system, which it promises will help speed up the way money moves around the world. This is the back end of the digital currency. This is the clearinghouse, if you will, for these country to country transactions will now be done digitally. They say, Jason, it will debut in July. The testing is over. They said that what they're calling, it is now known as FedNow, will create the leading edge payment system that is resilient, adaptive, and accessible, according to the program's executive sponsor. So he's got to say good things, right? The guy's in charge of it. Of course, he's going to tell you good things. Allow bill payments, money transfers, such as paychecks and distribution from the government, as well as a host of other consumer activities to move more rapidly at a lower cost, and will now start in July. So this is, Jason, this is the first step. Once this thing's up and going, after that, pretty much they can turn it on whenever.
Yeah, in some ways you could say it was Fed 2008 now. I mean, when they just started bailing everything out. Printing up money out of nothing digitally and giving it out is old hat. It's just this is a very much more of a structured and specific way of doing it.
Institutions that participate will have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access. The current system closes on the weekend. So again, Jason, convenience. Right now, look at the convenience now, right? And don't worry about all the freedoms you'll lose, but hello, convenience.
It's the best thing since sliced bread.
That's right. That's right.
This is the best thing ever. You could be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go out and purchase things with your friends, right? You know, it's
and this is this part of this system, just so people know. Remember COVID? And they wanted to give people money. And it took the Treasury a while, right? It took 6 weeks to get checks and do all this stuff. This part of the system, they can instantaneously have money in people's account. So the Congress says, give everybody $1,000. Well, boom. Click of a button. There's $1,000. There's 1,000 credits in your account. Isn't it wonderful?
$1,000 for everybody's ESG score above whatever level. Get your ESG score up. You'll get the freebie next time.
Right. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, man, this hour goes by quick. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Right now, you know what? If I'm rooting for one thing, let's hope someone buys First Republic, because if not, things get uglier. And they're already ugly. We don't need them to get worse. But no update, no movement other than J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley are at least looking. God bless everybody. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.